The morning started like any other for Ellie Chen, the host of Bright Start, the beloved morning talk show known for featuring celebrity families. Today's guest lineup seemed simple. A 15-minute lighthearted chat with tech entrepreneur Elon Musk and his young son, X. It had been scheduled weeks ago, an easy segment filled with a few questions about daily routines, perhaps some cute moments that would charm the audience. 5 minutes to air, the floor director called, making last-minute adjustments to the set. Ellie quickly skimmed her notes again. Simple questions about fatherhood, balancing work and family, nothing remotely controversial. It was meant to be a soft, feel-good piece, nothing that would make headlines beyond entertainment blogs. Mr. Musk and his son have arrived, an assistant announced, ushering them onto the set. X looked tiny, sitting on the oversized sofa, his legs dangling above the floor. His curious eyes scanned the studio, taking in the cameras, the bright lights, and the crew bustling around. "Thank you so much for joining us," Ellie said warmly, shaking Elon's hand before turning to X. "And you must be X. It's so nice to meet you." The boy gave a shy nod but watched everything with surprising sharpness for a 5-year-old. "We'll keep this easy and fun," Ellie assured them as a makeup artist gave final touches. "Just a simple chat about family life. He's been looking forward to it all morning," Elon said, giving his son a fond glance. "Though I should warn you, he's been very talkative lately, asking some big questions." Ellie chuckled. "That's perfect. Our audience loves curious kids." Little did she know just how prophetic her words would be. The countdown began. The red light on the main camera flicked on. Ellie flashed her professional smile. "Good morning, America. Welcome to Bright Start, where we begin your day with inspiring conversations. Today I'm thrilled to welcome entrepreneur Elon Musk and his 5-year-old son, X." The cameras panned to the blue sofa where father and son sat side by side. "So, Elon," Ellie began, "how has fatherhood changed your perspective on life and work?" As Elon started answering, X shifted in his seat, clearly more interested in the studio than the conversation. Sensing his restlessness, Ellie decided to bring him in early. "And what about you, X? What's your favorite thing to do with your dad?" X turned to the camera, suddenly composed beyond his years. "We look at the stars," he said clearly. "Dad says they're like big questions waiting to be answered." Ellie smiled warmly. "That's beautiful. What big questions do you think about?" It was an innocent prompt, the kind that usually led to adorable answers about dinosaurs or why the sky is blue. But what happened next would send shockwaves through social media, newsrooms, and homes across the nation. "I've been thinking about Jesus," X said seriously. For a beat, Ellie froze. This wasn't on any of her cards. In her earpiece, the control room went dead silent. Recovering quickly, she smiled. "That's an interesting topic. What about Jesus has been on your mind?" And then came the moment that would be replayed, debated, praised, and criticized millions of times. The small boy, live on national television, said with remarkable clarity, "Jesus wasn't just a good person. People argue about him, but nobody really listens to what he actually said." The studio fell utterly silent. Even the camera operators seemed frozen. Ellie's smile stayed, but her eyes widened. This was no typical cute kid moment. "That's a very thoughtful point," Ellie said carefully. "Where did you learn about Jesus, X?" The boy swung his legs casually. "Books. And I ask Dad questions. I like to know why people believe different things." Elon shifted, his face a mix of pride and slight concern, aware of how unpredictable live television could be. "We've had many conversations about different beliefs," he offered gently, but X wasn't done. "Jesus said, 'Love your enemies.' But most people don't. He said, 'Help poor people.' But we still have poor people. Why do grown-ups say they follow Jesus but then do the opposite?" Ellie heard the producer's voice finally crackle in her earpiece. "Stay with it. Ratings are spiking. Just be careful." She gave the faintest nod. "Those are very thoughtful questions, X. Many adults wonder about those things too. I think Jesus would be sad if he came back today," X added solemnly, "because people use his name for things he wouldn't like." Across the country, people began sharing clips on Facebook and TikTok. Pastors, journalists, and everyday viewers were already reacting in real time. Ellie, who had interviewed world leaders without flinching, found herself struggling to steer the conversation. They were only 4 minutes into a 15-minute segment. "You've clearly thought a lot about this," Ellie said. "What made you so interested? In Jesus?" "Because people fight about him," X answered simply. "But he mostly talked about being kind. I don't get why grown-ups make it so complicated." Elon leaned forward, trying to ease the moment. "We've encouraged X to explore all kinds of philosophies, but X had more to say. Jesus said, 'The truth will set you free.' I like that part. But sometimes when you tell the truth, grown-ups get mad." The floor director frantically signaled for a commercial break. Ellie nodded. "Those are powerful insights, X. We'll take a quick break and continue when we come back." As the lights dimmed, the studio erupted into controlled chaos. "The clip's already viral," a producer whispered, showing Ellie a tablet screen flooded with comments. "Should we change the subject?" she asked. "No way," the producer said. "Just keep it respectful." Elon bent down. "Are you okay to keep talking, buddy?" "I have more things to say about Jesus," X said confidently. The countdown back from commercial began, and Ellie realized this wasn't just a morning show segment anymore. This was history unfolding live. When the cameras came back, viewership had doubled. "Welcome back," Ellie said smoothly. "We're continuing our conversation with Elon Musk and his thoughtful son, X." Ellie treaded carefully. "Before the break, you shared some thoughts about Jesus. Is there anything else about his teachings you find interesting?" X nodded. "He said to forgive people. That's really hard. Even grown-ups can't do it." "That's true," Ellie agreed. "Have you had to forgive someone?" "A boy at school took my toy rocket," X said frankly. "I was mad, but then I remembered what Jesus said about turning the other cheek, so I let him keep playing with it. Now we're friends." The simplicity of it hit audiences hard. Religious scholars began posting reactions. Parents shared the story with their children. Critics debated how much a 5-year-old could truly understand. Outside the studio, a small crowd began gathering. Some held Bibles. Others just wanted to witness history in the making. At one point, Elon tried steering the conversation broader. X, would you like to share about some of the other thinkers we've studied? But X shook his head. I want to talk about what Jesus said about rich people. Ellie stiffened slightly. The control room went dead silent again. Jesus said it's harder for a rich person to go to heaven than for a camel to fit through a needle, X said innocently. Dad has lots of money. So, we should share more. You can't take money to space or heaven. The producer's voice in Ellie's ear was urgent. Unbelievable. CNN and Fox are carrying this live. Across America, families paused their breakfasts. Offices stopped. Churches adjusted their sermons. X, Ellie said, maintaining her poise, do you talk about these things with your friends? Sometimes, X replied, but most kids just want to talk about video games. That's okay, too. I think Jesus played with kids. The sheer innocence of it caused another wave online. A message flashed across the teleprompter. Pope's office issues statement praising the child's wisdom. Ellie felt the weight of what was happening. X, she said, many people are listening to you right now. Is there something you wish all grown-ups understood? X thought carefully. Jesus said to love everyone the same, not just friends, but people who are different. If everyone did that, the world would be better. The studio seemed to glow brighter. Do you have a favorite story about Jesus? Ellie asked. I like the one where he stops people from throwing rocks at a lady, X said. He said only perfect people could throw rocks, and no one's perfect. Even the seasoned crew exchanged glances at the child's clarity. That's the story of the woman caught in adultery, Ellie explained for viewers. X added, people judge all the time, especially on the internet. They say mean things about Dad, but Jesus said you know people by their fruits, what they actually do, not what others say. The hashtag #XOnJesus trended worldwide. Scholars posted essays. Parents recorded their kids responding. Churches hosted watch parties. Your son has deep wisdom, Ellie said, turning to Elon. How do you teach him? We expose him to all traditions, Elon replied. We want him to think, not just accept. X tugged Elon's sleeve. But Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life. So, is that true? Millions of viewers held their breath. Elon answered carefully. That's what Jesus said. Many believe it deeply. Others have different beliefs. You'll learn and make your own understanding. But, X persisted, they can't all be right. Ellie watched in awe. A child had boiled down one of theology's most complex debates to its purest form. That's a question people have asked for thousands of years, Ellie said gently. It's okay not to have all the answers yet. X nodded thoughtfully. I think that's why Jesus said to be like children. Because kids ask questions grown-ups are scared to ask. Another tidal wave hit social media. The conversation that began as a simple segment was now a cultural phenomenon reaching millions, and it was far from over.